Today I'm going to show you how you can add a driveway sensor to your Z-Wave network to be able to trigger scenes and do all sorts of neat things when people pull into your driveway. And you can do it all for around $130. In my case, I have a driveway that has two entrances. It's a circular design, so I'm going to show you how you can handle that as well. You can add a second sensor for about $100 more. So in this case, it's going to be about $230 to trigger events when people pull into either one of the entrances of my driveway. The first thing you need is the Dakota Alert DCMA 2500 Wireless Motion Alert Kit, which I picked up for 96 bucks. Inside the kit is the receiver, and then we also have the motion detector transmitter. We have two different types of mounting plates. We have some screws and the power supply that powers the receiver. In my case, I have to have two transmitters, so I picked up a second one, and that is the Dakota Alert DCMT 2500 Wireless Motion Transmitter, and I was able to purchase that for 61 bucks. Now, with this receiver over here, you can have a total of 4 transmitters, 4 motion detectors, and they can all tie into that one box right there. Each one of these wireless motion detector transmitters requires a 9-volt battery, which is sold separately. Now, in order to get these sensors hooked into your Z-Wave network, you're going to need to pick up a door sensor. And I picked up a Schlage RS100HC Z-Wave door sensor for $35.50. So you're going to need one of these for every sensor. So in this case, I had to buy 2 of them. Now, the very cool thing about these sensors is that you can connect wires into the sensor here and have it be triggered. In the back here of the alert receiver, you'll see that there's all those little contacts in there, and when this receiver gets a motion alert, it's going to send a signal through the wire to this door sensor, which is going to trigger an event. And the cool thing about this is it actually comes with batteries, which is a big plus. It's always nice to see that. Okay, step 1 is going to be setting up the transmitters, and for this you're going to have to unscrew the 4 screws on the back there. You're going to need to make sure that you have a long, skinny screwdriver. With the back off, the first thing you have to do is you have to adjust these dip switches here. Switches number 1 through 8, that determines the frequency. So whatever you set, you can do anything you want. There's 256 ways to do these numbers 1 through 8. Whatever you do, it has to be the same on all your receivers and all your transmitters. The last two, 9 and 10, that determines what channel this broadcasts on. So according to the instructions, if 9 and 10 are on, that is channel 1. And if we look at my second one over here, if the first one's off and the second one's on, that would be channel 2. Now, there's a couple of other different things on here, some jumpers. And the first one, right here, reset. You can set it to reset after 10 seconds or 120. I have it set to 10. The second one is the important one. You're going to have to change this. It came in the off position. You need to change that to on. When this is on, that means that this motion detector is set up for outside. When it's off, it's supposed to be set up for inside. So make sure you do that on. And LED, you can turn that on or off. I have it on. What that means is every time motion is detected, this tiny little LED right there will turn on. And the last thing right here is this is the range jumper. You have a low, medium, and a high. And if you set it to high, that means that it'll detect motion, from 50 feet or further. Medium, I think, is 20 to 50, which is what I have it set on. And low is I don't know, lower than that. According to the documents, low is less than 20 feet. So that's what you have to do for step 1. Step 2, we want to open up the receiver here. And the first thing we want to check is to make sure that our dip switches 1 through 8 are the same as on our motion detector transmitters. And as you can see, I have them all in the off position, which is the same. So with that said, the only thing that we have to do now is we have to run some wire into these little ports right here. I just have some regular 16 gauge wire that I picked up at Radio Shack. I took some off the end, And it's as simple as, first, I'm going to stick it in the COM port there for channel 1. Oops, there we go. And what you want to do is you can either stick the second one in the NC or the NO port, normally open or normally closed. And what we're going to do for this is we're going to stick it in the normally open one right there. So we'll do that and we'll tighten it up. And I have my wires in there and they are securely tightened in there. Now I have 2 sensors here, so I'm taking advantage of channels 1 and channel 2. And on to our last step. I have the wires connected from the receiver, connected all the way to both of our door sensors. One thing I want to point out for you is that you're going to need to get a really tiny screwdriver to be able to tighten the wires into the door sensor here. And I now have myself a Z-Wave driveway monitoring system in place. So when cars pull in the driveway, I can do things like turn the lights on, I can send myself a text message, or I can play an alert using the Sonos plugin. So all sorts of cool things to do. It was pretty cheap to do it. Overall, $130 if I wanted to do just one entrance to my driveway. But since I have 2, tack on an extra $100 for the other sensor and the door sensor. So for a total of $230, everything is in place. Okay, now that I have everything wired up, it's ready to test this thing out. It's important to note that in order for these sensors to work and get triggered properly, you need to have the cover on them. These covers, I kind of had to cut open to get the wires through. It seemed to work pretty good, so if I trigger some motion right here, you should keep an eye right there. You'll see that light flash right there, and then you'll hear this box as the relay clicks. So let's try it out here. There we go, it works. And keep an eye right down there for that LED as we trigger it. There we go. We have ourselves a Z-Wave driveway alert detector thingy. Thanks for watching.